Huge developments overnight out of Caracas, and this is not the kind of story you can glance at and forget. Tonight we unpack what happened, who's involved, why it matters globally, and what could come next. Stay with me, this plays like a real-time thriller, and the consequences are very real. According to public statements from the U.S. President and U.S. government officials, American forces conducted a large-scale operation in Caracas. Officials say President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured and transported out of Venezuela. We will be precise about what is confirmed and what remains under verification.
I'm overjoyed, I'm ecstatic. I'm Venezuelan by heritage, my family's still in Venezuela, and I've been looking forward to this day for so many years. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you to the United States, and God bless Venezuela. One day we will be free, one day we're going to have justice, and now it's finally no longer a dream, it is reality. Thank God.
In the chaotic first hours, videos of smoke over Caracas circulated online and eyewitness accounts described explosions and low-flying aircraft. Media organizations worked to verify footage. Some clips have been corroborated by multiple outlets, others remain unverified. Who are the central figures in this story? Nicolas Maduro has led Venezuela for more than a decade, succeeding Hugo Chavez and consolidating state power. His tenure has been marked by political repression, economic collapse, and a mass migration crisis. These are well-documented and widely reported facts. At Maduro's side politically has been Cilia Flores, a former attorney general and former head of the National Assembly, described by analysts as a powerful behind-the-scenes operator. Critics say she wielded legal authority to shape prosecutions. Supporters portray her as a regime organizer. We attribute these characterizations to analysts and reporting. What do U.S. officials say about the operation itself? Public remarks describe strikes on military targets and targeted seizures by specialized units. Some media outlets report special operations involvement. Until we have confirmation from U.S. defense authorities, references to specific units should be treated as reported, not independently verified. The president framed the action as both law enforcement and military in nature, saying the captured leaders would face criminal charges in U.S. courts and that the United States would play a temporary role during a transition. Those are statements by U.S. officials and should be read as such. Pause to consider the legal gravity. A foreign power claiming to seize a sitting head of state and move him out of his country is extraordinary. The U.S. points to indictments alleging narcotics trafficking and narcoterrorism as part of the domestic legal rationale. We will treat those as allegations until a court establishes guilt. The Justice Department's public filings, referenced by U.S. officials, allege an organized effort by members of the regime and enablers to traffic narcotics and partner with violent criminal groups. Those filings are the public record to watch. Defense counsel will contest jurisdiction, procedure, and evidence chain of custody. Regionally, Caracas reacted angrily. Venezuelan officials, including the vice president, demanded proof of life and called the action an illegal abduction. That is the Venezuelan government's position and must be shown as their response, while U.S. sources assert the opposite. International responses were swift and split. Some countries condemned the operation as a breach of sovereignty, others urged calm and verification. The United Nations called for restraint and transparent investigations. This is unfolding on diplomatic channels around the world. Why would the U.S. take such a stark step now? For years Washington used sanctions and diplomacy against the Maduro government, citing corruption, rights abuses, and drug flows into the U.S. officials now argue criminal statutes and public indictments provide a law enforcement justification for action. That legal framing is controversial in international law circles. Back home in Venezuela, the human impact is immediate. Reports describe panicked residents, disrupted hospitals, and crowded streets. For millions of Venezuelans and the diaspora, this moment stirs complicated emotions, hope for change for some, fear of chaos for others. Humanitarian needs may spike if instability spreads. Neighboring countries face potential consequences. Colombia and Brazil already host large Venezuelan migrant populations. Renewed violence or instability could trigger another wave of refugees, straining regional humanitarian capacity and prompting emergency responses from international NGOs and governments. This raises core questions about international law. Unilateral uses of force against a sovereign state are generally prohibited except in narrow legal circumstances. The U.S. will defend its actions on criminal and security grounds. Critics will argue about sovereignty and dangerous precedent. Expect intense debate among international legal scholars. Is this legal under international law? It's contested and will be debated. Will Maduro and Flores be tried in the U.S.? U.S. officials say they will face charges. Expect immediate procedural challenges. Could this trigger a wider war? Not necessarily, but the risk of escalation is real. As we move toward a close, remember why this matters. This action fuses criminal accountability with military force, testing legal norms and diplomatic frameworks. For Venezuelans, the outcome could mean liberation, instability, or a prolonged struggle. What I will be monitoring next, and you should watch for, are a few concrete signals: verified proof of custody and health status for the detained leaders, the first formal court filings in U.S. federal court, immediate humanitarian indicators like border crossings, and official responses from Bogotá, Brasilia, Beijing, Moscow, and Brussels. Each will change the narrative.